Hello, everyone. It's time to celebrate International Haiku Poetry Day on April 17th. We're glad you're here. I'm Susan Gall from FactCite, Lincoln Library Online, and I'm joined today by haiku poet and haiku evangelist enthusiast Sari Grandstaff, who's a librarian at Saugerties Senior High School, and her handle is at Haikutopia. You see here a picture. Sari had some poetry exhibited in Washington, D.C. Here's her haiku that was on display there. So, Sari, welcome and tell me, why is Haiku Poetry Day on April 17th?
Basically two reasons. I founded the day back in 2007, but April, here in the United States at least, is National Poetry Month. And then April 17th, because haiku have 17 syllables, right? So there's the first line is five syllables, the second line is 7 syllables, and the third line 5 syllables, so 17 syllables. So April 17th just seemed to be the magic day.
It's always going to be April 17th, and in 2021, it falls on a Saturday.
Yes.
So, we're here today to give all of you activities to get your students excited about haiku poetry. And Sari has 5 activities. There's a handout available which will go into greater detail, but we're just going to give you a quick taste of what each of these activities involves. Sari, what's a ginkgo?
Well, a ginkgo is basically a nature walk for the purpose of gathering observations to write haiku. So you can take your students outside, which is always great, and we're all itching to do that in April anyway. They should have a notebook and a pen. Those little reporter notebooks really work well. And just have them on their own, just jot down observations that they make, on their own. It's not a time to chit chat with friends or have conversations. That will come later when you go back in the classroom. And I like to remind the students, because something we all do is, they might write down just what they see visually, but try to remind them to focus on their other senses as well, and to jot down maybe something that they hear or something that they touch and feel. So that's a good idea. And then when they come back to the classroom, they can use their observations to write haiku.
That sounds like a great spring activity. The 5 senses activity is sort of related to that.
The five senses activity, he says you can do this in the classroom, or wherever you are, again, even if you're remote. But basically just have the students sit quietly, and you give them a chart with the boxes, a box for each of the five senses, and have them jot down, try to put something in each box, what they sense right now, what they see or hear or taste, at the moment. And then maybe put something in the box for each sense that they have from memory. Maybe they remember what their flannel sheets felt like in bed that morning or something like that. And then after they have something in each of these boxes, they can make some phrases out of these, what they've observed from each of the senses, and take maybe two images and combine them and write a haiku.
Haiku gives a lot of opportunity for reflection and for experiencing the environment now. Now, what's
Exactly.
a haiga?
Haiga is basically a combination of haiku and artwork. So, I mean, traditionally, of course, it was Japanese style sumi brush painting artwork. But now people combine any kind of artwork, especially digital photography, right? In this digital age. But you can have your students do collage, you can have them do painting or drawing, any kind of artwork. If they're outside, you might even use sidewalk chalk, who knows?
Sure.
And then you write a haiku that goes along with it. Usually the haiku is not, literally about the artwork. It's sort of more suggested by it, or kind of indirectly, an
Hmm.
association that the artwork sort of makes you have. And then you can combine the two, and that's haiku. And it's nice because then you also have something to display, whether it's in the hallway or the library or the classroom or digitally
Or
online.
an
You
online
can learn.
slideshow, exactly. That's a great opportunity for collaboration with the art teacher. Next, we have, this was new for me, Kigo.
Yeah, Kigo. Well, haiku is all about nature, and Kigo basically is the Japanese term for the season words. And In Japan, of course, there are many, they have Kigo dictionaries, literally, recognized season words. But a nice activity to do with the students is to have them brainstorm their own list of Kigo and season words that you can maybe put up on the whiteboard. Besides the obvious ones, so for instance, this is April, so we have the obvious holidays, Easter or Passover, but they can also include some less obvious season words like April Fool's Day. Humor is something that is acceptable in haiku. Maybe Earth Day, right? Earth Day is definitely fertile ground for for plenty of season words, and it's a way to bring in some science, right? Environmental and ecology.
And maybe
Maybe
even baseball.
baseball. Oh, baseball is a big one. I mean, baseball is Japan's national sport as well. So they
Hmm.
have quite a tradition of lots of baseball haiku. So some of those, also maybe what are some of the flowers and plants that bloom in April? So there's a lot there, and the students can write haiku after they've come up with their list.
With their vocabulary, with their new season word vocabulary. Exquisite Corpse Collaborative Haiku. How does
Yeah,
that work?
Exquisite Corpse, which has been done with other kinds of poetry, but basically and there's more about this in the handout, but you can divide the class into three groups. Have one group is writing a line one of haiku, a first line. Group two is writing a second line of haiku, and group three is writing a third line. Give them some time. They can raise their hands when they're ready. And then you just choose. You choose someone from group one, and they get up and they say their line of haiku, someone from group two and someone from group three. And then have them, the first time you can have them just say their line, but then have them stand up and actually recite their line, and you will find that you've created with the group a haiku, and it's a lot of fun.
I bet there are some surprising results with that one.
Surprisingly, you get some really good haiku. You wouldn't think so, but somehow, kismet, it just seems to happen.
That's really great. Well, I appreciate so much your sharing these ideas to inspire our FactCite users to get their students interested in haiku during National Poetry Month. If any of you watching this video would like to use FactCite and you're not a current subscriber, feel free to request a trial. We'll have the series handout with the activities available in our Tips for Teachers section. And if you have a question later, you're always welcome to email us at owls@factsite.com. Enjoy the rest of National Poetry Month, and thank you for joining us today. Bye, Sari.
Bye, thanks.